Near Ukraine's border, Moscow is racing to build fortified shelters for its warplanes, a stark sign that Kyiv's drones can now strike the Russian heartland. Satellite images reveal domed, blast-proof hangars rising at Millerovo, Kursk and Crimea's Hvardiiske, a defensive shift that admits rear bases are no longer safe. From redeploying bombers to the Arctic to hiding jets under earth-covered bunkers, the Kremlin is bracing for a long war and a future where even its skies aren't secure. Russia has begun a major infrastructure drive to shield its frontline air power from Ukraine's growing long-range strike capability, according to an intelligence update by the UK Ministry of Defence on July 29th. British defence officials said on X that Russia is now constructing fortified aircraft shelters at multiple airfields along its western frontier, including Millerovo, Kursk Vostochny and Hvardiiske in occupied Crimea. The move comes after a wave of successful Ukrainian drone strikes over recent months that have destroyed or damaged high-value Russian aircraft. Satellite imagery and open-source intelligence show the new shelters are dome-shaped, blast-resistant and covered with earthen layers to absorb the impact of explosions. Many are designed as drive-through facilities, allowing rapid deployment or storage of Su-30SM and Su-34 fighter bombers, aircraft frequently used to launch strikes deep into Ukrainian territory. At Millerovo Air Base, located just 17 kilometers from the border and struck recently on July 22nd, 8 new shelters are reportedly close to becoming operational. The fortification program reflects the impact of Ukraine's Pavotina Spiderweb operation, a coordinated series of drone attacks targeting Russia's rear area aviation hubs. On the 1st of June, Ukraine's security service, also known as SBU, launched a multi-base strike that damaged strategic aviation assets and forced Moscow to redeploy aircraft further from the front line. Among the high-profile moves was the relocation of a Tu-160 strategic bomber to Anadyr Air Base in the Russian Far East, near the US border, an extraordinary step intended to place valuable bombers out of Ukrainian strike range. According to the UK's Ministry of Defence, the shelter construction program is intended to mitigate losses from future UAV and missile attacks, acknowledging that rear bases are no longer safe zones in the conflict. The development underscores a significant shift in Russian air power doctrine. From mobility to survivability by investing in hardened shelters, Russia is prioritizing the protection of assets over rapid redeployment. Shelters will reduce the effectiveness of one-off Ukrainian drone raids, but may constrain Russia's operational flexibility. The construction also signals a rare public acknowledgement that even a nuclear power's air bases are now at risk from relatively low-cost asymmetric weapons. Military analysts told Global Defense News that such shelters can withstand low-yield blasts and protect aircraft from shrapnel, but are not invincible. Western-supplied Storm Shadow Scalp cruise missiles, ground-launched small-diameter bombs, GLSDB, or Ukraine's own Hrim-2 ballistic missiles could destroy or disable shelters if precise targeting and saturation tactics are employed. The rapid expansion of long-range drone warfare is reshaping the conflict. Ukrainian strikes have reached hundreds of kilometers inside Russia, damaging oil depots, air bases and logistics hubs. Russia's response reflects a structural adaptation, indicating that it expects persistent long-range threats rather than isolated attacks. The program coincides with heightened security measures across Russia, including the cancellation of Navy Day parades, a sign of domestic anxiety over Ukraine's strike range. Global Defense News reported that this construction campaign does not suggest invincibility, but it marks a shift in Russia's strategic posture, a transition toward protracted, infrastructure-based defensive planning. The decision to invest in reinforced aircraft shelters signals a growing recognition within the Russian military command that rear-area air bases are no longer immune from attack. It indicates that Moscow is preparing for a sustained period of vulnerability, anticipating that Ukrainian long-range strikes, particularly those involving unmanned aerial systems, will continue to challenge the safety of its critical military infrastructure deep inside national territory. Rather than a temporary adjustment, the scope and pace of construction suggest a structural response to what is now seen as a permanent feature of modern conflict: the erosion of traditional safe zones by cheap, agile, and precise threats. However, the construction of hardened aircraft shelters near Ukraine marks a pivotal moment in the evolution of modern conflict. Cheap drones are forcing nuclear power into defensive engineering projects. Traditional rear-area immunity has been eroded, challenging decades of military planning. Infrastructure-based survivability is replacing the assumption of distance-based safety. As the war grinds into its third year, the image of earthen domes protecting Russian jets near the border encapsulates a new reality. Long-range precision and unmanned systems are leveling the playing field. While these shelters may protect some aircraft from immediate destruction, they cannot reverse the psychological and operational impact of Ukraine's expanding strike reach. For Moscow, the message is clear. Its skies are no longer safe, and every metre of fortified concrete is a testament to a war it can no longer keep at arm's length.